Hey team, how we going? It's Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and naturally we're back again. Nothing really went awry then. Basically what it is because of the lockdown that's happening here in the 26th of June 2021. Now that lockdown's here, I think there's just an inundation of people that are looking for our content but don't know how to spell Kaz. They didn't realise it's pronounced Kiz, as they would say in New Zealand. Guys and gals, this is the part two. Kaz is here. Lauren is here. Don't worry about the sabre that's in my hand as we talk about dating advice in 2021 from a single guy. Am I by choice? It's by choice. My daughter is my soul buddy, not my soul mate.
I think we're both single by choice.
Yeah, single by choice. Nicole. Is Nicole single?
No, Nicole has a lovely gentleman, I believe.
Is Keely single?
Keely has a gentleman also, I believe. Why? Are you scouring the chat for that?
No, I was about to ask, is Dallas or saw single next? No.
Who's single? Everybody who's single, put either an egg
Hey,
or a
Jareet.
taco in there.
Jajit Singh, just subscribed. Not too cow, the first one for this second stream for the night. Thank you very much, mate. You're very welcome. Make sure you leave a question here.
Leave a thumbs up below the screen. Everybody subscribe if you haven't already. Is it still on subscriber only chat?
Yes, it is on subscribe only.
If you subscribe, then you can jump into the chat, and they're a very friendly bunch. They will make you feel very welcome.
Imagine running through these sugarcane fields naked.
Yeah, it makes me think of that film Signs. You know, the one with Mel Gibson.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one called The Grass or whatever as well that's on, it's a Stephen King one.
The Long Grass. That's pretty good. I didn't mind
It
it.
freaked me the hell out.
Yeah, it was alright. I watched a scary one yesterday. I can't remember what it was called now. It had Megan from Walking Dead in as
Megan.
Megan. They'll know. Anyone who's watched Walking Dead and that, they'll know.
Okay. Well, team, thanks a lot. Good to have you back, including the crumbed kraken from Carl. And what we're going to talk about is where we left off, and that is dating in 2021. Now, put a thumbs up if you are under 25 years old, if you can.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've grown up in a completely different world to us. If you are under 25, then you've grown up in this weird, wacky, nonsensical, upside down Miss Jane, no chance of happiness almost, because there's been a hijacking of the dating game where it's not about the smelly shirt experiment, where it's not about having the courage to go up to someone and say, yo, babe, get in my car, let's go.
Sorry, what's the smelly shirt experiment?
The smelly shirt experiment was about, it was an experiment where they got 10 women and 10 men. And the 10 men were told to wear their shirts for multiple days to build up not the endorphins, but the pheromones on their shirts like a stepped-on ant. And then what they did is they took their shirts off, working class man, and put them in plastic bags. And then they got the girls to smell the bags. And they said, who do you think would be your favourite? And it worked out that 7 out of 10 of the women chose the men basically in order from the hottest down.
Really?
Okay, based on the pheromones that were coming out of the bags. But 3 of them got it wrong. And they go, well, that only showed 70%. They worked out something different. The 3 that got it wrong were on birth control.
Oh.
So it means your ability to pick a good mate when on birth control is completely hijacked.
Yeah.
Because your body's lying to you. It's telling you not to be horny, not to get pregnant.
Right. I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, so it came down to the ladies and men. When there is something missing in your body, this is the reason why someone can be far more attracted to someone else, is because their body can sense there's something that the other person has that is deficient in themselves, which would help them with offspring to have the best chance of having the best mongrel that so it's got less chance of getting sick.
It's so romantic, isn't it?
It is. So nature has all the answers, but when you do online dating, one, it's all about lies. Two, most of the people, especially in big cities, don't exist on the female side, but they all exist from the male side.
Right.
So it is completely. If there's anyone out there that's online dating at the moment,
Yeah.
original hacks. That's a good name for this one. Then you may wonder, why do I keep lucking out? Why do I keep lucking out? I'm being honest. I'm being good. I'm putting my best photos on. It's because you're talking to robots.
Yeah.
And that's sorry.
And from the female perspective, it's not much better, I don't think, because it's like, I think the world's gone a little bit crazy where nobody knows quite what they're meant to be saying or doing nowadays. Everyone's roles used to be much simpler when we were young. You would meet someone at movies or a barbecue, or and you met them in real life.
But there's two things that make it very hard, and it's getting harder and harder because men haven't changed. Ladies have changed.
Yep.
And the two things that are more and more present these days, especially since the hashtags and all that sort of stuff, is the fat friend is louder than she's ever been before. When you go over to say hello to girls, you haven't even got the word out, and you might as well turn around and walk away because you're already getting told by the one you're not talking to, we're not interested, we're here to dance, or whatever it is. Or the other one is that, what was I going to say the other one is?
I don't know. How would I know? I know nothing about this. I got freaked out by online dating the one time I tried it.
Well, it's the implication that you're being freaky by walking over, and that going out now is for chilling out, but online is how they do their dating. Because you got to remember, when a girl dates online, every single person is a real person. And there is such a pyramid of great-looking guys with awesome bodies that they can pick through, but that doesn't necessarily say that they're a nice person. It doesn't necessarily say that they're a good catch.
And let me tell you, I find it a bit scary meeting strangers from off the internet.
I've never met a strange man off the internet. There's probably a few in chat.
Strange. People are so forward nowadays too.
But it's a fake bravado. How many people here in chat? Tell us if you've got a weird dating story in the modern sort of era. Because what was weird, and it's normal, and we had this discussion and we're talking about several subjects here. We'd really love what your thoughts are on some of these. We've got History-Wise. I love that name.
It's a great name.
Hey lads, this is going to sound weird, but I'm a senior cadet at my Australian Navy cadet unit. We'll call you cabin boy for now. And no one seems to be able to get marching right. Any suggestion to help train them? Well, mate, all you need to do is give one formal lesson, on marching correctly, and no one does that better than Army, right? So switch over, go to Army cadets, and you'll be apples. It's all in pushing down with the thumbs, okay, like so. Okay, when you step out, naturally, you step off on the left foot. If your right arm comes up at an exaggerated angle, what that does and forces the left hand backwards, that'll force the foot into its natural gait, and then you continue that on, call the time correctly, and it's as simple as walking, because that's what marching is. So modern dating, how do you do it? If you go up to...
I just don't want to do it anymore. So I'm interested in your advice in case I ever do decide I want some company. Kaz, lay it on me.
Well, for starters, they need to be the best version of themselves.
Yep.
You need to be able to be the best version of yourself. And I hate to tell you, if you're in your 20s, blokes, there's no one looking for you other than girls under 20 that want a guy with a car that can take them to flash restaurants and make them feel like women before they're women.
Yeah,
And that's where the most of the problems happen.
Yep.
Spend your 20s being the best version of you, getting fit, getting strong, getting financially good to go, getting dangerous, because when you turn 30, the pendulum switches and the beautiful women will be chasing you, especially if you've established yourself and you're a good guy, you've got interests, you smile, you're fit, you don't have financial issues, you haven't got a gut,
From a lady's perspective, you don't want an insecure man. And I think it puts me off a dude straight away if they're full of insecurities. You want to be confident, so you want it to be genuine.
Yep. If I was going to go into a contract with the lady right now, get ready for it. You can record this right now if you want, team. I'd let the girl know if I was on the prowl now, that if the timing was right, because a lot of ladies don't know that too with guys. No matter what you look like, no matter who you are, you have no chance with a guy if the timing is not right.
Yeah.
Okay, if the timing is right, we don't care what the girl does for a job as long as she has a job. All we want her to do is give us peace, to laugh, and to be a number two for us, someone who doesn't give us friction. But I'd let them know what I offer to them, okay, because I think about what they need, because the timing's right to me, is each weekend. I want there to be some sort of adventure, but also some downtime. I want them to at least be able to have a few drinks, so there's a chance that they can do some weird stuff and talk dirty in bed. I want the excitement and the randomness. I want them to have an outdoor sort of approach. I want them to be to not hate themselves. I don't want to always feel like I'm propping someone up.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the insecurity thing then maybe goes both ways. I think, women should probably also be building skills in that. I like what Nicole King said. She's telling men be considerate and polite. In other words, have sort of old-fashioned values. Because all I want in a man is, like a lover and someone to appreciate my sandwiches and that.
Everyone loves a sandwich. Men love a sandwich.
And I love making sandwiches for men.
Yeah. Look, it's pretty damn basic too. And if I was going to give advice to ladies, you need to burn your list. Stop turning up with a goddamn list of what the dudes need to be. Just turn up and say to yourself, with this guy, am I safe? Am I going to be happy? Am I going to laugh? Am I going to be with them for a long term? Because I tell you one thing you're not ever meant to have is a relationship that doesn't last forever. A whole point of a relationship is to find a life mate. Now, a man's biology is going to tell him for his entire life, no matter how old he is, you need to get out there and you need to make a battalion right now. Brute 33, it's all you need.
Oh, no, don't go the Brute 33. Go Christian Dior, Fahrenheit.
I don't like the French.
It's irresistible to me. If I smell that on a man, I instantly just turn into like a girl.
Yeah, well, you know what? Why do girls wear frangipani shit then? Why can't they smell like a rump steak with pepper sauce and garlic bread, and then guys should be...
want us to smell like rump steak, really.
We want them to smell like good food. We love the smell of our cars.
Yeah, but no.
Here's a handsome man. New Year? Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, I've
That's okay.
watched many of your videos and you've been very helpful. I'm going to have the defence interview next Monday. Thanks for your advice.
Mate, and thank you to you. Because this is exactly what we're talking about making yourself the best version of you. So by the time you meet a lady, you're either had a military career or are still in the military and now immersed in exciting things, not just talking about football scores and the smell of fuel from a V8 engine. Now you can be speaking about politics. Now you can be speaking about when you strolled through where? The Amazon, through Italy, your love of beautiful coffee, the fact that you can cook yourself, the fact that you're already halfway through paying off your house, the fact that the car you have, you're so well off from saving your money and making it work for you through shrewd advice that you can afford to have the air conditioning on in winter with the windows up. That you don't look at the menu's price before you ask someone out, and you don't ask them where they want to go. You tell them, be ready. You pick them up, you take them there, and they say, I'd better sleep with this guy soon, otherwise he's going to get away because he's a catch.
Yeah, and please, don't send dick pics.
It's the ugliest plant on earth.
Please don't do that.
Okay, so the dating game. It's a fugazi. It's fake. The people you're most likely to have the best union with sadly, is going to be a mate's missus, okay, or someone you work with, because you actually get to speak to them and learn who they are without sexual orientation, without connection, without innuendo. So it makes sense that, oh shit, I didn't even realise we liked each other.
Yeah.
You know, and then your mate even confuses it worse by making you the best man at his wedding. You're going, you're even admitting I'm better. You know, what am I to do? Anonymous. If I join as a carpenter, can I then become a combat engineer? If you join as a carpenter, you will be an engineer. Combat engineer is part of what you have to do to become an engineer. Yep. And then you go into the specifics, matey. Yep. Carpenter. Yep. Jesus trade. Well done, sir.
Yep, indeed. Nicole King thinks she's got your perfect lady up
there. Look, there is a lot of perfect ladies, and I am not necessarily picky, you know, but it's all about timing with me. And
and I think it's the same for me too, where I'm at as well. You know, mine's more about, you know, because I think about the other person a lot, and so I think about what can I be, what you want me to be, because I really like my alone time sometimes, you know, and you know, there's certain things that I think I don't know what this person's wanting. Are they wanting someone to be always going out to dinner with them and things like that, which is what I found when I tried sort of dating not that long ago, last year or something. But I couldn't be who they wanted me to be. Yeah. So I've sort of just reevaluated everything and sort of stopped trying.
You never have to stop trying. It's just be open. Never say never. I'll never get a dog again. That's then you end up with a puppy.
Never say never.
Just a quick one here. Tassie Devil is just saying, because he's got some advice for those going to Kapuka. He's there right now, and he's completed it. Hi, Kaz. Thank you for being an amazing mentor with excellent and succulent calf muscles. I threw that in for the blind people who are listening. Some advice I have to those that are going to Kapuka is to have an idea how to iron. The first 2 weeks in segregation, so it's just ironing and drill. There you go, in segregation, because they can't teach you a new skill yet. So they cover those there.
Yeah, that sounds like a good advice.
It is good advice, and you know what? It pays off for the rest of your life as well. Another one with dating before we go on to our next topic is, what was I going to say about the dating, is do not meet someone, if you're a young guy, keep the goddamn romance out of it for the first day. Make it fun, make it daytime, because you'll probably get to see what they look like properly. You'll get to see them have fun. They're not going to suddenly have someone saying, well, I'd better get going now. Shit scared that you're going to say, are you getting in the taxi and coming with me? The first date, you should have the plan that there is no chance that this is going to go anywhere if you actually want to be with that person. And go out and maybe say to them, let's go out today. We're going to have some coffee. We're going to have some good food. What foods do you like? And we're just going to laugh. We're going to do some people watching. We're going to have 3 drinks each. You won't need to drive today. You know, we're going to get a photo of each other and see who gets the best photo by the end of the day, and we'll get one together as well. The worst thing that can happen today is either 1, I get friend zoned, okay, or 2, you know, she's just not going to be the person that I like by the end of the day. But at least she's not going to feel nervous before she comes out. And it's not going to be expensive either. You know, so keep the romance out of the first date, because nothing good comes out of trying to be romantic on the first night. All it does is put pressure.
It can put pressure on a girl, and that can just kill it before it's begun too.
Yep, so first date, nice and simple. We're going to go topless on the beach, both of us.
Okay. Sounds like fun, as long as it's somewhere secluded, and, you know, that is kind of nice.
And there. Come to my cafe for 2. Okay, the next one. Let's talk about, unless you want to do a couple of questions there, team. Thank you for the stream, Kaz. Have a good one. I'm off. Tassie Devil, say good day to your mum. I know it's not cheap for people to come and see you at your march out, etc. The Victory Hotel, is that going to be closed down now because of the COVID restrictions? I don't know. If you want to wish Tassie Devil good luck, either subscribe right now or press the like button. That's the best way you can show him that you're respectful for his time in red, blue, and yellow tabs. Thanks, mate, and welcome to the team. Jay, take care, Tassie Devil, and best of luck, Cobber. Yeah. Barra. I think of doing an apprenticeship first, then army.
So he has a career after the army.
Barra, I'll give you some advice, mate. You want to do an apprenticeship, which takes 4 years to give you something for after army. What if you're in the army for 40 years?
Yeah, exactly. What if that is your career?
What if you go and do apprenticeship, spend 4 years doing that, then get in and go to Armoured Corps or go to engineers, and you never touch that again, and your best friends, your travel, your life, who you are next, okay, what happens if that goes on for a 40-year career? And that should be what you aim to do. You shouldn't aim into any job to go in there, learn a little bit, and then jump past it, unless it's for financial ambition or political aim. Because that'll just tell everyone else that you're in here to use them. An externality is what they call it. Succubus. Something that goes in there to suck all the goodness out of something before it moves on from its host. So be careful with that one, mate. I'd recommend a good conversation about that, because I don't think that you're looking at from the right angle, mate. You know, it sounds like someone of your parents or one of your friends is telling you that'd be a good idea. I'm not sure how old you are, mate. I'd be interested.
Yeah.
Jay Hayes. The secret signal's out.
You know what's happening. You know what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Listen, Keely, that's really good advice to someone who's just 17 asking for dating advice. She said, spend the time getting to know yourself and building yourself into, like Kaz said, the best version of yourself that you can be. Do
you know the scary thing? If you're 17, there is no one on earth who is of legal age that wants to date you. Do not do it.
Yeah, because if an older lady wants to date you, just think about that for a minute.
Say hello, Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus loves you more than you could know. Oh. You might be thirsty, mate, but guess what? Pepsi is not the answer. It is not the droid you're looking for.
It's not.
I'll crush you like this can.
Tom Riley has asked, do armoured perform infantry duties like foot patrols too?
No. Default drills tend to happen when Armoured Corps and infantry work together. We were normally the tick on the dog's back, so to speak, and as part of combined arms, we work together in perfect synergy. Well, so it says, along with artillery, engineers, communications, aviation, and all of those that support us to keep us there. Someone just went crazy on their keyboard.
Jacko went crazy on his keyboard. He's a long-time lurker. This is his first time in chat. Jacko says he aced his assessment interview yesterday, Kaz. Got into my medical and turns out I need glasses, and the doc picked up a faint heart murmur and has sent me away to get it checked before I can do my PFA.
Jacko, that's great news with a hurdle attached. You know, and we changed the screen just for you, mate, and thank you very, very much for the jaundice cow. Appreciate it. I'll buy some. Okay, what will I buy with that? I'll buy some placebo seasickness tablets the next time I go out on a boat, so you can laugh at the demise.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Mate, the assessment interview, okay, that can be an important one, because to young people, you can find out things about yourself medically or psychologically that you did not know, okay, that you did not know about yourself. And that can be more than just a failed assessment. It can actually be a surprise when blood tests, urine tests come back, when the doctor finds out that there's a problem with scoliosis, where they find out there's something with flat feet, where they find out there's something wrong with your cornhole. You know, all of these different things can come out. You know, but you've aced it. Great to hear. They're doing a checkup on you, and it should be fine.
Yeah, you should be just fine.
And while we're keeping this lighthearted, if you did have a heart murmur, was it saying, "I love you, Kaz. I love you"?
Do you want it to?
If a heart talks, no, it'd be saying, "Selma Hayek, stop smoking."
Yeah.
That's my last bit of advice too on the dating team. I can do a whole video on it if you want. But my big bit of advice, and some of you aren't going to like this, is give up smoking. Never do it. Yep. I'll tell you why. If you're a male or a female, you're going to have people that like you before you know they like you. If you smoke, then more than 60 to 80% of the population that you may like will automatically say no to you just based on that habit.
Yep.
And that's male or female. Fit guys will never go near a girl that smokes. You know, independent, fit women that have options and choices that don't smoke will never go with a guy that smokes. Give it up. You know, there's no advantage. Unless you're James Dean or Brad Pitt. Okay.
And there's still no advantage.
What else we got?
Let me see. They're just talking about amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you got another subject?
We do have another subject, education. I spoke to a teacher today, and this really felt like it felt like I was talking to someone about leadership, because this feels like it's more about leadership. There's a big difference between a manager and a leader, as we know. But there's people where different is better than good, and teachers are those ones that become the inspirational teacher that got you to where you are by either you saying, "I'll prove you wrong," or "I'll prove you right." Put your favourite teacher of your life in chat right now. Type out who was the best teacher, and then type in who was the worst teacher, because everyone has one. I had some fantastic teachers, and I had some really bad ones. One of them, Mrs. English, I wanted to prove her right. You know, she was a great teacher, had red hair, didn't judge her, really liked her. I also liked my history teacher, but she said, "Kaz, you know, basically, you keep doing what you want because you only want to go to the army, so you really don't need to pass at school." And she didn't realise that I was going to go on to travel across the entire world making history.
Yes, exactly.
What about a cigar?
I don't know. I went to an alternative school. It was different.
I went to the School of Hard Knocks at the 2nd 4th Battalion of the Royal Australian Regiment. That was a tough one.
Yeah, I went to a left-leaning sort of hippie school, so we were on first name terms with our teachers, and we were pretty much free to do what we liked.
By saying "don't judge," it becomes "I know it's bad." Judge becomes "no, it's bad."
Nicole King was saying she's a smoker, don't judge.
Everyone will judge you if you smoke, if you're single. You know?
Yeah. I used to smoke, like in the tattoo shop, it's very hard not to. And also, if you're out there and you're wanting to give up,
yep.
It's flipping hard to give up. But so, you know, you can go see your doctor, there's things that can give you a little help, or you can just make a new habit and just try and get through with sheer willpower. I think Mrs. Peppers was giving up smoking recently.
Yep.
And you have to warn everyone around you, like, watch out, giving up smoking, it's going to be hard. I may get a bit cranky for a couple of days, but if you can get through that, you're on your way.
Yeah. And look, we've got to be honest on here, and that's
what I signed up for.
Are you talking about me getting told not to wear double denim by my daughter's mother?
Oh my gosh, I do the same with John Paul. So John Paul tries to go triple denim. He actually tries to do as much denim as possible just to drive me crazy.
Did we have any teachers? Did anyone put the name down of the teacher they liked or didn't like?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Russell was the best for Mark.
Well done, Mr. Russell. You've done a great job. You're a leader.
Yeah, Mr. time to chat about life. Mr. Tankson yelled at me for breaking a pencil sharpener. Yeah, there's good and bad, isn't there?
There is. It depends how you broke it. Tom Raleigh, what is a day usually like for infantry and armoured corps? We can tell you that, mate. Just give us a bit of a second there, Tom, and we'll get straight to it, Tom Brady. So education. When I spoke to this lady today, it was at a pool party in winter, funny enough. Basically, she was saying, from a teacher's perspective, I'm not sure if we've got any teachers out there, and you know what? Good teachers are hard to come by, and they are getting stamped on by the system. Believe me. You know, we're seeing in the USA now teachers standing up to the education board saying, I do not agree with what we're trying to teach our children. You know, I came in here because I had a Hippocratic oath similar to a doctor. Theirs is to teach, where the doctors, paramedics, is to preserve life.
Yeah, they all have a pedagogy. That's what it's called.
I've never heard that word.
It's called a pedagogy, and it's every educator has a pedagogy, which is their philosophy towards education.
I'd say 90% of them don't have that.
Well, they have to have one to finish university, so they've got one, but whether they actually live by it or initiate it or whether it's any good is totally a different thing.
That they have more power in many ways than a parent to be able to implant, to be able to use their message for good. And this young lady was talking about, and she's a mother, you know, about how when she wants to teach, when she wants to be better, different is better than good, she keeps getting pulled back into her box and told, no, this is the way it's going to be. And this is what we're teaching. This is the curriculum. We don't care about the education because, do you know what a lot of people don't know, Lauren? Do you know what school is designed to do, what the exit level is meant to teach you to be?
What is it meant to teach you to be?
This is going to distress you.
Go on.
A factory worker.
Oh,
It's only those that rise above that and go out and do that skilled training that they see that is an extension of ambition, an extension of ability, etc. Otherwise, what their job is to do is to turn out factory worker level. Yep.
yeah.
That's why you don't learn about money. That's why you don't get taught about ambition. That's why you don't get taught about leadership and management.
Yeah, there's some schools which are in poorer demographics where they're actually already teaching kids how to fill out Centrelink forms before a meeting.
No.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had, we'll call it the Alamo for now, Rob and Daz, and you had a school called the Alamo, and what it was disenfranchised teachers that are saying, I want to be proud of what I create. So their job's to go to this location, hold the reins, and they were there to speak the truth, to bring the children up, to tell them when they failed, to pick them up, retrain, to give them another go, even metaphorically back squad them where required, to put them into a group so they can learn at their own pace, because that's what effectively we do, isn't it, with special ed, etc. I believe, undiagnosed ADD. That's what I believe, because it's followed me into being an adult. You know, the amount of great people that sat beside me, whether it was from charisma or because they were placed there, and I don't even know what they would have made it to in their school, in their careers, because I distracted them before their HSC. But honestly, teachers, I love them, but they have to be able to teach and be inspired to be something different, to take your kid when you're not looking after them and tell them, yes, you can do it. Join the military. 1 in 2,757, I think the number is how many people to 1 a civilian to infantry. So why would you ever expect them to come along with your dream when you say, I want to join the army. I want to know, says Tom, what it's like to be infantry on a day-to-day basis. And they go, why would you want to do that? You don't want to hear that. You want them to say to you, Socratic method, why do you want to do that, Tom? What makes you want to join the army? And then when you say, you know what, I'm not inspired by university, and neither is Elon Musk, the most successful man on earth, depending on how you work on the metric of success.
Yep.
But I want to live my life. I don't want to be an accountant in shirts that are never tight on my arms. okay, unless it's because I put weight on. I want to get out. I don't need to go to the gym. I want my day to be full. I want to earn my food. I want to earn my sleep. I want to know that I can get to sleep because I need it. You know, I want girls and guys to want to be my friend because I bring something to the table. I put on there and I put on more than I take off it. That's why I want to join. I want to get paid to go overseas. I don't want to pay to go. I want to go to where there's no air conditioning. I don't want to pay for a chopper ride over the Apostles. I want to go and fly over them, you know, hanging with my legs outside with a rifle between my legs, wondering what it'd be like to just let it go. And you can do all that by being in the military. And people go, why would you want to do that? Oh, you know, what about when you get out? What will it give you? You go, it'll give you a goddamn fulfilled life. I don't know a single person, okay, that got in the army, okay, that said, I wish that I hadn't joined the army. Not one.
No, exactly. Even folks who really suffered, you know, like physically through injury and that, they'd still go back there and give anything to go back.
I got a busted back. I got a busted cornhole. I got bloody horrible fingers from doing push-ups and chin-ups and all that sort of crap and landing on rocks differently. You know, my head feels like it's Humpty Dumpty being held together by a skull that's maybe a little bit too small for my jaw. And all I've got is these perfect stories that just ruminate around here, these invisible skills, invisible knowledge, where I want to sit down and talk about the ancient art of war instead of how the Cowboys go on the goddamn weekend.
Yeah.
And this can all be yours.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And it gives you a really, you know, you're part of a bigger community too.
It's a massive community. You know what? It's a fraternity. And I'll tell you why. Because when you meet anyone that's ever been in the military, they don't need to know another thing about you. All I want to know is, where'd you go? What rank were you in? What unit were you in? What corps were you in? What are you doing now? And do you want a beer?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. Or in my case, I'll bring out a plate of little triangle sandwiches.
You do that. You do that and we'll applaud you with our eyelashes. Thank you.
Yeah, you big man, you love your little triangle platters of sandwiches.
That's awesome. Carl, throwing out a great compliment to his lovely wife there. So true. Daz, my wife, is a school teacher and has always done it for the love of helping kids. And that is a great teacher. You know,
Exactly.
the teacher I spoke to today said she was so upset because she'd told the child to shut up and then rang the parents after school to let them know, I am sorry, I told your kid to shut up. And they laughed and said, are you serious? We trust you with our kid. If you've got to tell them to shut up, us, you just do that.
Exactly. I imagine that they know their kid and there's probably a reason.
Yeah. Barra, one of the finest fish that's batted from North Queensland, and I don't mean assaulted.
Last night, he says, Kaz, I have to be honest, a lot of people around me are discouraging military due to the news about becoming woke and the general assumptions.
Well, guess what, Barra? Once again, you're the one in 2,757, so why would you expect them to get it?
Yeah.
You know, there is things you're going to do in your life, in your journey, where it's going to feel like you're alone, but you're not alone. Okay, and that's why I'm here, to make you feel like you're not alone before you actually get there, and then you realise Kaz does not speak with forked tongue all the time. He was solid on that. When have you ever seen someone come to this channel, ever, anyone, and come on here and a serving member, ex-serving member come on here and say, Kaz, you're full of shit, you're telling these guys bullshit, this is not true. That has never happened in 5 years of YouTubing, team.
I've only seen them come on in here from all sorts of places and say, that's good advice, Kaz, you're telling them the truth, Kaz.
You know how I say I don't believe in best friends?
Yeah.
Pretty close to my best friend is right here. Beware the sergeant. Great flannel. That's all he wears.
I was just going to say he's appreciating your flannel.
This man has the calves of Thor.
Oh,
You know,
really?
he has hair like Greg Brady. And he's got a cafe in ACT that serves Moreton Bay bug garlic chili tacos in the morning.
I'm going to have to go there.
And he's got a lovely family.
Yeah,
say g'day to Grace, and say hello to Charlie.
Yep. I haven't had a Moreton Bay bug for too long.
My bugs are all in my undies.
Good grief, Kaz. What?
Special K is asking, what's the biggest difference between? I think you're not. You're saying RAR there, 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment, okay, and SASR. I think you're talking about 2 Commando. The biggest difference between 2 Commando and SASR is Commandos think of them as advanced infantry. SASR are a scalpel. They are a finesse. They are a small team capable of being in a big team squadron size, Sabre teams, that can go in there, and they are a strategic asset. Less is better. They're a more concentrated special force. They're a higher tier, okay, and their job is to go in there and do the most amount of damage and get out without being seen, whereas Commandos are to come at a time that you least expect, from an angle that you also least expect, to come in there and show you their face before they take your ground, and then hand it over to infantry as they go back out with their stories as they get on the choppers. You know, so
apparently it's true that your undies are full of bugs. Beware, the sergeant said it's true.
well, that's because he was beside me when I slept in the jungle in Tully with my mosquito net attached to a pig trap, and the mites and all of the little parasites crept onto me and made me look like I had the measles.
Oh no.
This is the 8 Mile strategy. I tell you all the things that I've done wrong and stupid before he gets in and lets you know on my behalf. Hey, Freddie, make sure you hit that like button, mate, just so you can be consistent with your lies. I'm going to take you back to the sugarcane for that. There we go.
Smokey B in New Zealand finally made it to a stream. Hi, Smokey. It's nice to see you.
Hey, Smokey, how you going, bro? Good to have you here, mate. You know, we love our brothers across the ditch. We got some more ex New Zealand infantry from the 2nd 1st Battalion from the South Island, Burnham Camp. You know, that are part of our channel now too.
Yeah, that's Kaz with the cook-off.
Do you know they don't burn sugarcane anymore?
Oh, really?
No, they don't burn it. But what happens is they, when they cut it, they get 3 complete growths out of it apparently before, you know, they need to rejuvenate the soil. Whereas before, when they used to burn it and all the bugs, snakes, etc. used to come out, you know, what happened was that would rejuvenate each time the soil. But you've got to make sure that you don't leave it too hot for too long before it can make candy out of the sugar cane, so to speak.
Oh, there you go. You know, I used to hate the smell of when you go past, you know, the sugar refineries. They don't.
The molasses.
That doesn't smell so good, does it?
No.
Yeah.
Beware the Sergeant. We'll also know him as Freddie. Great story. Stood naked in the shower, covered in lumps, complaining there was no way he could take a bird home, looking like an STD covered in lumps. That's not fake news. That is not fake news. And Keely, you would have had a bloody good laugh, love.
Oh my gosh.
Geez, I paid for those. Yeah. Smokey okay. Thanks for the welcome, Smokey B. You know, these are the brothers, you know, and the sisters. You know, there's a lot of rivalry between New Zealand and Australia, but not between Australia and New Zealand, which is a funny thing. Did you know, Smokey B, that when we work overseas with foreign forces, that New Zealand and Australia, the Anzac Battalion, so to speak, and I call that battalions, but I mean our militaries, are classed as the can-do countries. And what that means to those that are watching is we are so highly revered by foreign forces from coalition backgrounds that when you want something done, and a great example of this is the Middle East, Afghanistan, Iraq, as well as the Sinai Peninsula, that if you want something done, you give the job to Australian and New Zealand forces, and then you can turn your back on them and know that you never need to check their work. Put them in the clutch positions, you know, and they will get the shit done. They'll concentrate, you know. They get the job done, they don't complain, and they do it with less. So Australia, New Zealand, be proud of those who are in the uniform, who represent you now overseas, you know, and I don't even know what the concerns are with them over there with the crackdowns, the quarantines, etc.
Yeah, exactly. Rex Colt has a question for you.
That's a good name.
Yeah, isn't it?
That sounds like a porn name, Rex Colt.
I was just going to say that. Hey, Kaz, I put infantry as my first role and combat engineer for my second. Do you have anything to say about combat engineer? Do they do similar training in singleton?
No. They are able to protect themselves, but not through TTPs, SOPs, tactical techniques and procedures, standard operating procedures, and actions on, okay, to the standard that infantry are. Basically, their job, okay, is skilled labour. They are to either clear a route or to deny a route, okay, to either threat force or open a passage for us. So they'll be working in the same grid square as us, sometimes in front, but when they're in front of us, we're in overwatch over them while they do their work. Are they in danger? Absolutely. Have we lost some? Yes, we have. To some horrific injuries as well. Mr. Lydiard, you'll be talking to him soon.
Yes.
And he is an absolute inspiration. But you're not joining engineers to be on the front line and fight. That's not their role. Their job is to support. Okay, the job of infantry is to seek out and close the enemy, to kill or capture them, to seize and hold ground, to repel attack by day and night, regardless of season, weather, or terrain. Completely different thing. We don't support anyone. We support the mission. We support the end state, but we do it with a bayonet. We do it with a kinetic means. Okay, the engineers are skilled labour that gets us there and keeps us there. Just as important, but different. And guess what? Infantry used to be engineers in Rome. When you weren't hefting the shield and swinging the sword, you were making roads, and guess what? Those roads still stand today in England. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. My mum grew up on a road that had Roman cobblestones on it.
Yeah. Benny K, it's the F-88 is not the issued weapon anymore. You're looking at the EF-88 and the F-90. Those two weapon systems, modified, I'm not a big fan of them. You know, we've got a video that we were going to do a reaction on if I hadn't have gone north to Cairns, which I'll tell you about Cairns in a minute, team. I've got to tell you. Especially if you're single. Team. Okay, but for some reason, the US is looking at swapping out the Mike 249, the Minimi, as we call it, the 5.56 weapon system, or it can be 7.62 Maximi, the light support weapon in a section, infantry section. They're looking at getting rid of that and replacing it with an automatic rifle that holds like a 30-round mag. Now, we used to have that called the AR when we were with the SLR, the self-loading rifle, back in the early 90s and before that, and Vietnam included. There is no similarity whatsoever with an automatic rifle, okay, and an M249. There's none. There's not the same capability. There's not the same characteristics. I don't think there's any advantage. There's no ability to reduce a target. You know, there's no normal rate, rapid rate ability to cover the advance of foreign of coalition forces as they lead up to an objective. They've got it completely arse wrong. You know, and I'm an expert on this stuff. I don't know how experts are coming up with this shit. You know, that's what happens when leadership doesn't consult capability that is directed by those on the ground.
Yep, exactly.
There is definitely people, Lauren, that work for Tesla inside a gigafactory that can teach Elon Musk exactly how to do some tasks that he doesn't even know exists.
Yeah, and I get the feeling he'd be more willing to listen than some ADF leadership at the moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Beware the Sergeant is incredibly cheeky to you.
He is. He lives in the land of fake news.
We'll just move right along. Okay. Ben Chicken has asked,
Whoa, now I'm hungry.
what would you say to a 16-year-old that wants to join the Royal Australian Infantry after he finishes school?
I am inspired by your journey, young lion. And what I'd say to you is take your time. Make believers of everyone on your mission by doing well at school.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care if you hate it. We've told you the dating advice. Between now and 30 is you becoming the best version of you. To become the head of your family. To look in the cast of your father, grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, and be able to look at him the way Caesar looked at the cast of his family and say, those that have passed and those that have not, I am on this earth to do a better job than you did. And if their job was excellent, if what they did was superb, then you'd better be on your goddamn A game, because I'm telling you something. If you can beat your dad, and I don't mean fighting, and you can beat your granddad, and you can be a better man than your great-granddad, then I guarantee you'll have a line of girls that are saying this is a horse worth backing, but you're not going to get there at 18.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Join the military. Be part of the channel.
Yep.
Stay here. Learn passively.
Yep, exactly. Jump on the Patreon as you get closer to meeting your goal and get some one-on-one coaching from Kaz.
Yep. I'm absolutely in your corner. And what I will say is, do not expect people until they see that you take it seriously to believe in your life mission. There is loud noise that's occurring all around you, white noise, if you will, without being racist. Okay, which would make people say, why would you want to do that? But that's also because they don't want you to leave. They have a vested interest if they love you in you staying. And that's family and it's friends and it's potentially Mrs. Next Right.
Hey, Dave D's here.
Dave D, the good-looking man with one leg.
Indeed. I still think of how smart he looked in that suit.
He does look smart in his suit.
He brushes up all right, scrubs up all right, does our Dave.
Can we please get some thumbs, preferably not in sets of 3, for Rishal, okay, over in the comments. He just subscribed. Thank you for coming, mate. You're very welcome here.
Yeah.
Guys and gals, should we talk for a moment, Lauren, that it is so rare to have a consistent channel on YouTube, okay, that can communicate to you. It'd be one thing for me to go and do what Sydney Watson does. It'd be another thing for me to do Casey Neistat, whether it be who do you watch, the Logans, whatever. But when you come to this channel, one of the reasons why we keep it real and keep it a stream, this can be a podcast for you if you're driving, is the fact that you can understand the context of what we talk about live. There's no hiding behind a curtain. You're actually hearing, and what we're saying is real life, cold face, wisdom that is right 52% of the time.
Yep, and anything can happen when it's live, so you never know what's going to come up next.
Who else represents, you got Kaz here, you got Lauren here. Lauren, can we please put your channel up there again?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I've actually got some pretty exciting stuff coming up.
Lauren's got some really big interviews coming up, and she's a very, very good friend of a special engineer. Can you please tell me about the fantastic... G'day, Robbie Wool. Look at that. Be careful you don't summon Ivan Milat for the grave with that many thumbs up. Smokey B's got on there with the evil trifecta of thumbs. You're in for a treat, fellas. You're in for a treat, and lasses. And I love the lasses, and I love Lego too. Can you please tell them for 2 minutes about the magic gentleman that is Michael Lydiard?
Yeah, he is. He's an amazing guy. He's one of my very, very best friends. And he is, because he inspires me too. And even just kind of knowing someone like him exists in the world is sometimes enough to just stop me feeling sorry for myself.
Wait 2 seconds. I'm going to make a quick... I'm going to cut this out and make a video of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to start again.
Okay. Sure, I will. Yeah, okay, my
Wait,
friend...
Wait 2 seconds.
Oh, will you tell me when?
Hey team, how we going? It's Kaz from the trenches with Kaz, and this is a quick snapshot of what is coming to you soon as we ask, who is Michael Lydiard? And I'm gonna push that over. I know him. He spoke on one of my courses, and here is one of his best friends who painted him bigger than life. Lauren is shining.
I did paint him bigger than life. It was a really, really big painting too. Here, he's an awesome guy. He's an engineer. He was injured during deployment in Afghanistan, and it was a IED, I believe. He was
Improvised explosive device. Yep.
Yeah, and he was, one of those people who puts on the big suit.
EOD.
Yeah, and he was, and even with that, he's lost part of his arm. He was missing almost one half of his face. He's been put back together very well. I mean, who gets blown up and still spunk? Michael Lydiard does. And he's also amazing with his the sport that he still does and things like that. He's also an occupational therapist. So he actually helps rehabilitate other people. So he's still working. He's still doing all his sports. He's an Invictus Games champion. On the opening day of our Invictus Games, he brought home our first gold medal. In fact, he brought home 3 that day and numerous silver. He's an amazing...
Is it true he stole 2 of them, but?
He stole them by being so quick.
Yeah.
That's how he stole them. No, he's really an amazing guy, and he's a really great guy too. He's a dad, and he's a fantastic community member too of the veteran community.
Do you think he could have given better dating advice to Prince Harry, but?
Oh yeah, I think he would have made better choices than Prince Harry. Let's be honest, he's a smart guy. He's a really lovely guy. We're both early birds, so we're usually chit-chatting quite early in the morning. So he's an amazing guy, and I'm hoping to get him on to have a chat onto the channel. But actually next week I've got another engineer. We've got Disco Stu coming back next week to talk to us about the Afghan interpreters who have been rushed through being given visas. And even more exciting than that is that I may be getting the opportunity to have on the channel one of the first Afghanistan interpreters to be given one of those visas coming over, so we can even have a chat with them. And also I've even got Night Watchers Paranormal Dan and Pete coming back next week. And
all of that can be seen by following the links.
Oh yeah, did I put it in there?
In the channel. Now, Michael Lydiard, Nicole King knows him as well. One of the things that Michael Lydiard does, despite the fact that he has horrific injuries, I've never seen him play the victim.
No, never done.
Yeah,
never.
He turns up to PTSD courses, and because he has the physical injuries as well as the mental injuries, we call them invisible wounds when you have PTSD, because no one knows you've got it. Therefore, they don't understand what happens when there's a meltdown, when there's a situation occurring. They may not even know you were in the military, or that you're a policeman, or that you were in a motor vehicle accident, or you were sexually abused. But Michael Lydiard, he has the physical injuries visible and invisible injuries. So when he comes and speaks, it's easier to listen.
Yeah, it is. But when I was doing the portrait of him, we talked a lot, and I had to speak to him quite intimately about his injuries to be able to make the painting. And as we spoke, he said he really wanted the invisible injuries to be more visible than his visible injuries in the painting. Wow. Because that's what we have in common. In fact, Michael Lydiard and I call it our painting, because it's both of us in that painting, because we are connected, because I have PTSD. He never looked down on me that my PTSD, I wasn't a veteran or anything like that. He's so well versed in just being a person who is differently abled.
Does he look down on you when he's taller?
I don't know. I don't... Well, yeah, that wouldn't be hard. Yeah, I agree, Nicole King. I think Michael is a person who should be honoured and looked up to. Whether you're military or civilian or not, just his life and his attitude, and the fact that he just overcomes, because he has normal life things happen to him as well. he has his good days and his bad days and his up days and his down days. Life doesn't stop going on just because you've overcome something massive. But when I look at Michael, when I first was going to paint Michael Lydiard and I went to have a look at him and his life, I thought I was going to see somebody who had lost a lot, but I didn't. I didn't see a man who'd lost anything. I saw a man who'd overcome a lot.
Look, in saying that, what he does need is mate network. You need people, and this is a good thing about the military. Military don't feel sorry for you. They just drag you along by the limb that hurts least. So what happens is, instead of being babied, what'll occur is they'll just make sure you're there too. Who's going to grab him? Bring him along. We've got dead friends. Okay, Justin Saint, God bless his soul, sir.
Yep.
His daughter just got married. We used to carry a slouch hat around on every single reunion we ever had. And he gets a seat or he's on the table and he gets a drink, and girls were allowed to pick him up, but men weren't allowed to touch it.
Yeah.
Because he would have wanted the girls to touch him. Ben K, what's this Darwin story, Kaz? Us single fellas want to know. Oh, no, not Darwin. Cairns.
Oh, yeah.
I'll pass Lauren back over here. Michael Lydiard, we're coming to get you in a good way. Okay, so Benny, Cairns. The difference between online dating in Sydney is you're only going to date a robot. They're not going to be real people, pretty much. Okay, because the girls get snapped up so quickly because they have 10,000 plus guys to pick from. The guys are all real. The girls are not. When the girls do come on, they meet someone within 50 checks or whatever, if they're able to pick up, etc., unless there's something wrong, and then they go on with their lives, making mistake after mistake after mistake, because normally that's what happens with online dating, especially when you're young. But when you go to Cairns, this is where it's different, and I'm not online dating there, but my friends are, is the girls are real, because they don't need it to be robots. There's enough broken relationships up there that there is real girls that are going up there from Sydney, from Victoria, from these different places and meeting these guys out where the streets are wider, where the houses are half the price of a city, where the temperature is fantastic, where you can swim all year round, where the food is amazing, where the people are lovely, where the jobs are plentiful, where the police are calm. And you can meet a girl, you can go out, have a quiet drink or a loud one to live music while eating a mud crab, while fending off hers, in a singlet, if you've got the guns, boardies, baseball cap, if your hair is thinning, and a pair of thongs. And even that can be considered overdressed.
Yeah.
Cairns is a place that when you go there, you think, why the hell does anyone live in Sydney? And even worse, why would everyone ever live in Victoria? When it takes 15 minutes to drive to the airport, when everything is beautiful and everything is green, and you can buy a brand new house for $450,000 with a pool, and the food is amazing, the beer is cold, and the girls are pretty, smiling, and happy for you to walk up to them and say, how you going, love? Feel like a free feed, car, house, life? She might even say yes. But honestly, guys, when you go to Cairns, it is old Australia. What I mean by that is you are weighed on your handshake. It's a bloody good place and the people are great.
Yep.
And I didn't see any signs of aggression at all, other than a couple on the road. They still have a bit of road rage. Overpriced seafood, which I thought was funny. And the smallest mussels I've ever seen that sat in a shell. That were overpriced as well. It was disgusting. They were smaller than an ant's nipples. That's a different story. Beware the sergeant. Still having issues with fitting those earphones over your ginormous ears, Cass. Hey, that's because these ears are proof that I'm a listener as well as a talker. He knows that's different. That's just North Queensland, Kaz. Darwin's the other side. You don't want to go to Darwin, team. That is Troppo. You go to Darwin, you're already competing with your father's looks, and then you're competing with the wet season to get a tourist who's probably going to be out of town before you know it, And then there's also got the Marines there that you're going to be competing with as well. And for some reason, Australian women love accents, and I don't know why. You know, there is so much heat, and the bills, and your pool is evaporated between diving and hitting the water. You end up landing in a puddle. I'm back and better than ever. There you go. Apple on the gamer. Jay, ants have nipples. Don't tell. Yeah. What are we talking about? We're talking about how Cairns is so different. Cairns is so different to what it is living in a city. As a matter of fact, there is no advantage of living in a city over Cairns other than the fact that you can swim in beautiful waves. Australia, I reckon, has got some of the best beaches, if not the best beaches in the world. You know, but up there, 7 o'clock at night, you go down the Esplanade, which they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars on, and you've got kids, families, wives, ex-wives, swimming in the lagoon in the middle of winter. It's amazing. And then come out and have yogurt, fruit, you know, great food, Thai food, Chinese food, steaks, seafood.
Yeah, you know what I love about up north like that?
What's that?
Is how much you can live outdoors.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of outdoor living.
Yeah, kids, go and play with the mud crab.
Yeah, I agree. It's good.
A pet for the night. Cairns is awesome. Dave, honestly, man, I spent half of my life in Townsville, and for some reason I thought Townsville and Cairns were the same. They are not the same. And now I know. And now I want to go back every single winter. But what I don't want to do next time is sit in the back of the vehicle and know what it feels like to have mum and dad's spaghetti on my lip already, you know, getting motion sickness every single day. You know what I also did up there? Hey, George, how you going, mate? Hey, Kaz, I just passed my assessment day. That's fantastic. On Tuesday, because I'm in Melbourne, the medical is on a separate day. That's backward. It should all be done on the same day. There's no reason why they couldn't do the entire day on the same day. You know, there's no reason why they couldn't, because they used to do it. What was I going to say there, Lauren?
I have no idea.
What was I going to say?
There's no point asking me. I've got as blank brain as you.
I was about to speak bullshit about something. Hit the like if you can, team. Don't make Brady an offer. Can't refuse.
I don't know.
Cairns, what was it? Some of the beautiful women in Cairns too, me mate. Holy shit, no sooner does he put his profile up, and they say the last thing the girls want up there is a guy that loves his V8, mud crabs, just hitting the piss in his footy, and pig hunting. If you're a little bit exotic, you know, up there, they reckon you'll get snapped up real quick.
And how did you go?
No, I didn't do it. The time wasn't right, but I'll be going back every winter.
Flying north for the winter.
Yeah. Buffering again. Okay.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it is for me too.
All right, we might have to get out of here. It's getting pretty bloody late. You know.
It's good to have you back, Kaz.
It's good to be back. Oh, that's what I was going to say, but I'll bring that up tomorrow about the Devil's Pools.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, are people still on or are they getting out of here? This looks like it's going to shit. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Can you please just put in there, Lauren, that we're going to get out of here?
Okay, sure. Just in case they can't hear us. I will.
How can you do an assessment and psychological online? That's insane. You know, the whole point is getting people outside their comfort zone and looking at them straight down the barrel and asking them the tough questions and seeing how they react. Yeah, I've been all around Noosa. I love Noosa, mate. Love it. Parisian Beach is where I used to go. Okay. I'll see you later. I'm going to be on tomorrow night. If you can hear me, thumbs up. If you can't, don't. See you tomorrow night, team.